Hi guys, and welcome to this Iceberg video. Before we start off, I want to thank Evil for recommending that I should do an Iceberg video. I didn't know that Iceberg videos were a thing. I guess I'm living under a rock, but after watching some of them, I understand the appeal of it. I collected some of the most disturbing and well-known internet oddities and ended up with 4 different tiers. I usually only cover unknown topics on this channel, so this definitely is something new. Basically, we start by going through the topics in the first tier, mostly just slightly unnerving things, and move on to darker and darker topics with each tier. Obviously, there are a lot of topics that I could have included in this, but in all honesty, covering this iceberg will take a lot of time anyway, and I try to limit myself to internet oddities. I mean, you will be entertained either way, hopefully, since the topics are super interesting and I dig pretty deep into some of the topics. I will try to present them in the most concise way possible, but it's obvious that it takes a while to cover some of these rabbit holes. Further, I will add chapters to this video for every single topic I cover. This means that if you maybe already know about a certain topic, or if you just get bored by a certain topic, you can just jump ahead to the next one using the chapters on the timeline of this video. However, I may discuss certain things about the topics which you may have not known about before, so it's always worth watching the entire thing. Also, there is absolutely no way that I can cover every topic on this list in just one video. That would take forever to do, especially in terms of editing and researching everything. So this video will feature only 2 tiers because everything beyond that is just too much to handle. Like honestly, even this video was super overwhelming. I'll obviously make another episode featuring the last 2 tiers, which definitely are extremely disturbing. I also want to state that I will show some source footage of certain topics so you know what I'm talking about. These may be disturbing or jumpy, but I will always give you a warning beforehand. Also, before we start, you know how YouTube works. If you are interested in disturbing, mysterious and fairly unknown internet topics, you should definitely subscribe. If you end up liking this video, like it. If you don't, dislike it. Also, if you have topic recommendations for a video, let me know on Twitter or on my subreddit. You can also make a comment down below. Without further ado, let's start off with tier 1. Starting with topic 1. Dot. Typing a dot in the YouTube search bar and clicking on the first suggestion will give you the following results. These videos have eerie thumbnails and identical titles. The title translates to "A woman claiming to be the Virgin Mary is married to Jesus." Interestingly, some of the thumbnails depict drawn females. These appear to be clickbait, since they don't even show up in the actual video themselves. Clicking on these videos will depict content of very random nature. It honestly is somewhat of a gamble what you'll encounter in these videos. Let me show you some of these. Viewer discretion is advised.
ਅੱਜ ਨਾ ਆ ਫੜੀ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀ ਸ਼ੈ ਕੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੱਖੀ ਪਈ ਹੈ ਕੱਪੜੇ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਫੜੀ ਬਲਾ ਪਿਛਾ ਹੋਤੇ ਭਾਈ ਪਿਛਾ ਹੋਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਪਿਛਾ ਹੋਤੇ ਇਹ ਸ਼ੈ
Usually, it's some random TikToks or memes, creepypastas, art projects, photo shoots, album covers, and horror movies. And so nothing real about them, but rather just made for shock value, to bait people, and for shitposting, thus slightly distressing content for sure, especially without any context, but definitely not worse than the other stuff in this iceberg. Moving on to the second topic, Magibon Stalker. Magibon was one of the first YouTubers on this platform. Her first video dates back to 2006. As the title suggests, she is sitting and doing nothing. In other videos, she also talks to the camera and was actually uploading every now and then until 2014. I wouldn't say that the channel itself featured anything too out of the ordinary, but Magibon certainly attracted very suspicious individuals. On the website Magibon.com, we can find videos of a guy obsessed with Magibon. He claims to have tried to contact Magibon numerous times, even in real life, and ended up doing this video. Viewer discretion is advised for all of the following videos. It appears to be a very disturbed individual sharing his obsession with Magibon. But it didn't stop there. He in fact made 4 videos in this fashion. Sadly, the website Magibon.com has changed a lot ever since, and the videos aren't available anymore. Luckily, they have been archived. Let's take a look at the second video. In this one, the stalker named Frank shows himself in a gas mask. Similar to the first video, he has written text in the video showing his obsession towards Magibon. The third video is much of the same, but the fourth video just depicts the word "I'm sorry" for a minute. Keep in mind that videos like these were extremely rare back then. Nowadays you have a few art projects or videos with a similar production, but back then people were worried about Magibon's safety. I'm also pretty sure that Magibon was extremely disturbed and terrified. I mean, who wouldn't be? However, it was fairly easy to solve this entire thing. Back in 2008, people were discussing the Magibon project on forums. One individual managed to find out who owned Magibon.com. It was a Swede named Joachim Denning. On his own website Denning.com, people could see that he is a digital artist and designer. Nowadays, the website doesn't seem to feature anything. He states that he created a fictional stalker character who is obsessed over Magibon. It served as an experiment. Although this was a hoax in the end, keep in mind that this doesn't appear to be consensual. Magibon didn't know that this was a hoax. Imagine you being in Magibon's position and someone creating disturbing videos obsessing over you. Especially in the early stages of the internet, where videos like these were extremely rare and convincing. Experiment or not, this definitely is morally more than questionable. Either way, moving on to the third topic, Kate Yap. This topic has been covered to death already, but there is still no resolution to this topic as of today. Kate Yap is a mukbang channel that went viral in 2019. She was able to eat very large portions of food in very short amount of time while still looking very skinny. While this is odd, this topic became very dark really quick. In videos, there were visible wounds and bruises on her lips and arms, causing for a lot of rumors to spread. People assumed that she was forced to record these videos, kidnapped and held captive somewhere. These rumors may be a bit exaggerated at first, but with her final video on the channel, it appears to be not that far-fetched. In her last video, almost 1.5 years ago, she loses 2 teeth while eating large portions of food. Ever since, she never uploaded again. In the description of this video, she had the following to say, quote, "I eat fast and I know the risks, but always ate this way. I have any health problem. My metabolic system is adapted. You don't have to worry about this." The last bit of information comes from her one and only community post stating, quote, "Hello everyone, it's urgent to clarify my situation. Everything is okay for me. Nobody forcing me to eat and I have any health problem. These marks on my arms are caused by the sun, just like this wound on my lip, usually called herpes labialis." There are also hidden messages in the videos, making it even more convincing that she's being held captive. In this one, she is tapping on the bowl in a strange manner. Interpreting this as a Morse code and deciphering it will give us SOS. In the same video, there's written text with pretty much the same message. Here, the words capitalized in "so delicious" also give us SOS. While these are not necessarily proof of anything, it becomes very interesting in the comments. There, we witness a pinned comment from Kate Yup, reading, quote, "It's not Morse code. That isn't how Morse code works. It is just random tapping. There is no correlation between her tapping and Morse code. I couldn't identify a single letter. Every other claim aside from the bruises is just silly. Why would a captor let her edit the videos? That doesn't even make sense. And if Joe YouTuber could spot the SOS, so would they. And if she knew enough to use SOS as a call for help, why on earth wouldn't she have tapped that on the bowl? It's the only Morse code I have memorized. Also, the bowl moves, so what? Because her other hand is resting on it. It moves perfectly with the rest of her body. Finally, her lip doesn't look busted. It's either a cold sore, which would explain why it showed up more than once, or a bad blemish. So it's pretty much confirmed that someone other than Kate herself runs the channel. In the comment I just read, Kate is being referred to in third person with her rather than I. Also, this person seems to backtrack a lot and is extremely defensive. I mean, they could easily debunk all of these accusations by just posting a video where Kate explains herself, but they never delivered. While all of this sounds plausible to a certain extent, it also is entirely possible that this entire thing is made up for attention. I mean, it's pretty obvious that this brings in a lot of attention. Views that she might have never gotten otherwise. On the other hand, she stopped uploading completely, even though her channel was pulling in a huge amount of traffic. To this date, the Kate Yup situation remains unclear. Topic 4. Username 666. This is one of the oldest creepy videos on YouTube for sure. The video sits at 14 million views and is over 13 years old. I would like to show some footage of it first before we talk about it. View discretion is kinda advised. It's definitely a bit creepy. His recent uploads have been horror content. He in fact also states that he's working on a horror game in one of his videos. He also uploads a bunch of Minecraft videos. There isn't much to investigate because username 666 was just an art project he worked on. However, considering this video was made in YouTube's infancy, it scared a lot of people shitless and definitely had a mysterious vibe to it. This brings us to topic 5, Erratas. This is a bigger rabbit hole, so this will take some time to digest. In 2015, an anon on 4chan told the strange story about a strange search term, Erratas, that pushed many others that were investigating this into a rabbit hole. The anon on the X-Files talks about this lady he knew and about how she got a job from an agency. While working a job, she had a tape gun that said Erratas on it. The man she was working with told her to get rid of it, and that apparently the man had a job once to write up code flagging any employee that searched for Erratas. This means if you search up Erratas at work, you would get fired. Following this post, there was another thread saying the following, quote, "Did anyone here have any software IT jobs on the East Coast between 2000 and 2010 or so?" I asked because a few people I know from that time and area have talked about some sort of sketchy HR related program called Erratas, and I'm wondering if I can find any information about it. Not strictly paranormal related, but disturbing, and I believe I saw someone on X mention it before. So if that anon is here, please post. The most essential piece of information came in an hour later. It reads, "From what I understand, it was something that allowed some specific third-party company unconditional access to employee information. Employees who included Erratas in search terms or asked about it would get fired or placed in non-computer departments. I believe UPS, Unilever, and Ecolab were part of the system." In 2016, another anon made a post, this time on the music board on 4chan. Unlike the other posts, here we just have a quick mention of Erratas and a discussion about the band KFC Murder Chicks. Attached was a link to a YouTube channel named Todd Ellsworth. He had a few songs on the channel. I won't show the music here, but it's honestly nothing creepy. The description included the word Erratas, seemingly for no reason. There is another video on the channel named DJ Roswell, which will be important for later. After a while, again, a thread on the music board was created. This time, someone sharing a few links to obscure music, one of them gaining more attention than the rest, called Deep Internet. The song was uploaded on the channel Chronos for Life Jurassic Park. One of the videos on the channel was titled Here Goes Nothing, asking his viewers if they are familiar with Erratas. In the description, he also states that he wants to see if his video gets flagged for mentioning Erratas. All of his videos are in extremely poor quality, usually in 144p. The reason behind this is to avoid getting his content removed for mentioning Erratas. Obviously, all of this sparked a lot of interest, convincing anons to dig deeper. Meanwhile, Chronos for Life uploaded his last video, answering questions from anons. Chronos explains that Erratas was a copyright software flagging certain words and phrases. And turning on the automated captions on the Here Goes Nothing video results in the following. First one states, "Overthrow the government," and the second one gives us an address. Keep in mind that this was not featured in the video itself. Also keep in mind that you cannot create automated captions yourself. These are provided by YouTube. This obviously convinced a lot of people that all of this is real. Interestingly, the captions changed. Going on the video now will not show the same two phrases shown before. This is likely due to YouTube always improving their auto-generated captions, thus the change. And the initial captions were probably just randomly generated, but it's still strange that the captions depict this address. KFC was founded in Corbin, Kentucky, the same address that is shown in the captions of the video. KFC Murder Chicks' hometown is also Corbin, Kentucky, which is visible on their fan page. The connections are too clear to just be a coincidence, at least at first glance. Additionally, people managed to track down a Twitter account with the handle Erratas or Bust with the name Todd Ellsworth. On there, the first ever post is this image. I am pretty sure that most of you saw this image before. It's from a Hawaiian rape suspect, which dates back over a decade ago. This image was later always connected with Erratas. If you talked about Erratas, you would usually have this image in mind. The last lead was a YouTuber and 4chaner vanishing that discussed Erratas. In 2019, multiple YouTubers covered the topic, but there was no clear solution to Erratas. Even though this topic seems very mysterious, this topic got solved in 2020. I mentioned DJ Roswell earlier, which was featured on Chronos for Life's channel. Roswell in fact fabricated Erratas, but why? On the spectrum, DJ Roswell gave an interview confirming that Erratas was just an ARG to promote his band KFC Merchix. It reads, "The whole ARG thing was around 2015 or 2016. Long story short, I was depressed. I didn't have a job, and I was in a weird place where I didn't feel confident in the music itself. I also felt like it needed a gimmick to go along with it to make it more well known, and figured a spooky internet mystery or ARG would do the trick. It honestly came from a very cynical and not very artistic place, looking back. It was exciting early on, and I would definitely check in once a day to see what people were saying, and then deliberately pivot in a different direction from where they thought the clues would lead. But then I got a full-time job, and that left me with way less time to do anything related to the ARG, and I kind of lost interest. And when it really blew up later, I was amused at first, but then gradually grew more weirded out. The narrators of these videos did all the speculating about me, but never actually just contacted me to say, hey, you're an actual person. Is it cool if we mention you specifically? It rubbed me the wrong way back then, but that's karma, I suppose. I still get at least 2 or 3 DMs a week about Erratas, and usually ignore them unless it's a person who seems really freaked out or scared by it. I always make sure to tell them it's not real at all and never was. I don't want to freak people out like that. Moving on to the last topic in Tier 1, YAYVIDEOGAMES. I featured some disturbing Reddit users on my channel, dedicating entire videos to them, and YAYVIDEOGAMES is certainly a very unique case. At first glance, it may look like a troll or something similar, but the deeper you dive into it, the more realistic and convincing it gets. Around 2010 or 2011, in a subreddit dedicated to the discussion of gaming, OP wanted to hear from others what their favorite mods are. YAYVIDEOGAMES replied, essentially stating that it's a hustle to uninstall the game, since it leaves a lot of junk behind on your system. This obviously is pretty odd, but he elaborated, quote, "The uninstall button. The game is great, Ubisoft Goes Steamworks bye bye, always on DRM. Check out the junk it leaves behind in you." Following this cryptic reply, he was spamming Steamworks bye bye, always on DRM in multiple variations. The first impression is that this must be a bot, since he had comments which featured the same exact variation. However, the variations of other comments suggest that it's unlikely that these comments are performed by a bot. They must have been written manually. The screenshots you are seeing right now are all from one post. This post has over 4,000 comments. The absolute majority of them are from YAYVIDEOGAMES. And this means that YAYVIDEOGAMES sat there writing at the very least 4,000 comments. And some of his comments included hyperlinks to images, mostly of random nature. Some of them are also not safe for work, so I cannot show them here. Anyway, there was one image which seemed to be unique. It was this one. It's basically the same phrase that he was spamming in comment sections. Ever since, Nextbo did a fairly elaborate video on the topic, explaining the situation and confirming that there actually was an individual behind YAYVIDEOGAMES who coped with his painful life by making posts on Reddit. To make it short, Nextbo and SoLegitHS were able to find out that YAYVIDEOGAMES is from Melbourne, suffers from chronic pain, was prescribed antipsychotics, is unable to feel pleasure, has a chronic fatigue syndrome, and is highly delusional. YAYVIDEOGAMES also mentioned that the antipsychotics didn't help all that much, and he used opiates instead. The theory now is that all of this could have put him in a mental state where he ended up spamming comment sections. It is also assumed that YAYVIDEOGAMES is not alive anymore. This finally brings us to the second tier. I would say the topics featured here are a bit more disturbing than tier 1, but it's fairly similar. The disturbing stuff starts with tier 3 in the next episode. Starting with the first topic, ChipChan. In a 4chan webcam thread in 2008, someone shared a live webcam from a girl, which they referred to as ChipChan. And ChipChan is a South Korean woman in her 30s who streams literally her life. From morning to night, every day. The streams mostly just show her sleeping for extremely long times, sometimes up to 12 hours in fairly uncomfortable positions without much movement. And ChipChan eventually started sharing that she has been getting stalked for over 2 decades. She names her stalker P because he is a police officer. And ChipChan claims that this officer implanted a chip into her foot to track her at all times and force her to sleep. That's why you usually see a picture of a foot and a red dot in some of her live streams, as well as the phrase mind control weapon. There are a lot of things already known about her. She's a part of one of the wealthiest families in her province. Further, a caretaker, supposedly a police officer, took care of her ever since her parents passed away. She lives either above or across from a small store, and the owners bring her groceries a couple times a week. She occasionally leaves her place to take pictures of the police at protests, and everyone in her neighborhood knows about her. As for her sleeping up to 12 hours in uncomfortable positions, she may have a disorder or a medication that makes her extremely tired. While she was streaming very frequently on her Mind Control Weapon YouTube channel, she seems to have switched over to an exclusive South Korean streaming service called Kakao for a brief period. But she doesn't seem to be streaming anymore from the looks of it. Some people say that she was kidnapped or disappeared, but I couldn't find anything more concrete on this. Maybe the authorities or whatever are taking care of her, or there's a different reason as to why she hasn't been streaming for a few months now. She updated her blog every now and then, but everything is in Korean, so I have no idea what any of this means. This brings us to the second topic. Elliot Rodger. Elliot Rodger took the lives of 6 people in 2014. The reason why this particular case is very interesting is because he uploaded a bunch of videos on his YouTube channel which shows his true intentions and basically serves as manifesto. There are a total of 21 videos on his channel, which obviously all have been deleted. Luckily, archives exist. In videos like Being Lonely on Spring Break, he talks about how lonely he feels and that girls don't really care about him. The next 2 are in a similar fashion, but this time his clear narcissism comes into play.
So many beautiful girls here, but none of them give me a chance, and I don't know why. I don't know why you girls are so repulsed by me. It doesn't make sense. I do everything I can to appear attractive to you. I dress nice. I'm sophisticated. I'm magnificent. I have a nice car, a BMW. Well, it's nicer than 90% of the people in my college. I'm the ultimate gentleman. And yet, you girls, you never give me a chance. I don't know why. You know, I put a lot of effort into dressing nice. These sunglasses here were $300. Giorgio Armani. So I'll put them on. See?
He further shows in the same video that he's extremely desperate for a girl.
Pretty faces. And I want one for a girlfriend. I want to take a girl out on a date and prove to her that I'm worthy. I want to feel that sense of being worthy of a girl's love and affection. I'm 22 years old and I've never had a girlfriend. I'm still a virgin. I've never had the pleasure of having sex with a girl, sleeping with a girl, kissing a girl. I've never even held a girl's hand. Hell, I don't even have a young girl's phone number in my cell phone.
In the next one, he sits in his car, stalking other couples on the beach and complaining about how he doesn't have a girlfriend himself.
In front of me, sitting right there on that bench, is a young couple, I presume about my age. I was enjoying such a nice view until they came and sat down and started kissing. This is the reason why life isn't fair. Why does that guy get to have such a beautiful girlfriend while I'm all alone?
In his last video titled Elliot Rodger's Retribution, he declares his quote-unquote retribution. He wants revenge for all of the years he had to endure the pain of being alone and being rejected by all women. Additionally to the videos, he also uploaded a manifesto in text form, which still can be found online. Overall, he killed 6 people, injured 14, and took his own life. This brings us to topic 3, Alantutorial. Alantutorial is a tutorial channel dedicated to instruct his viewers to do nonsensical tasks. Some are silly, while others definitely are somewhat disturbing. He made videos starting from 2011 to 2014. The channel starts off with harmless stuff. In this one, he shows how to fill a tiny bin with dirt. It really starts to get interesting in this video. Towards the end, someone repeatedly knocks on the door.
Stop! No, stop! Anyways, once you have it done, you just hold on, I'm doing a tutorial, I'm almost done with the tutorial, let me just finish! Stop it!
Things take a darker turn with subsequent uploads. In this tutorial, he demonstrates how to pick up a chair off the ground while continuously crying.
So if you have a blue chair that fell down, and if you have a blue chair that fell down and you want to pick it up, if you have a blue chair that fell down.
Viewer discretion is advised for the following clips. With the following video, the entire channel took a very different direction. In this one, he gives us advice on how to install an air conditioner. I cannot fully show the clip here, since it looks like he actually harms himself while installing it. The odd thing is that he doesn't even mention the blood on the air conditioner and his hand. In the following video, he literally destroys his ceiling and then smashes the plaster with a wooden stick. Overall, we can witness that he has been locked out of his house, left homeless and kidnapped. Here, it appears that his entire body is covered in blood, and he also seems to be naked. YouTube might get angry, so I cannot show it here, but you can go over to his channel and see the video for yourself. It's titled Disc Tutorial. The last few uploads don't even have detailed titles anymore. You are basically just getting thrown into some cryptic stuff. In the next video, we see Ellen definitely going insane.
Tutorial. My name is Alantutorial.
While all of this is somewhat disturbing, it's pretty obvious that the videos on the channel are some sort of art project or ARG, but it was one of the most interesting ones of its kind. Alan Resnick, the mastermind behind Alantutorial, managed to combine comedy with horror and definitely inspired a lot of different artists. There have been similar ARGs ever since. One of such is Web8. Web8 hasn't been covered by anyone, and I was actually planning on covering it, but never found the time to do so. If you thought that Alantutorial was interesting, I advise you to check it out. Moving on to the fourth topic, blankroom soup.avi. I remember when this was circulating around the web for the first time, and it was very disturbing without any context. Ever since, we know a lot more about the topic. In around 2005, a video named Freaky Soup Guy was circulating around the internet. Let's take a look. It appears to be a kidnapped guy that is forced to eat something and ends up crying. Interestingly, back then these videos would not gain a large number of views or attention. Nearly a decade later, people were posting this video on the deep web and were retitling it as blankroom soup.avi. This made people assume that this video was made for the snuff market. Like I mentioned prior, without any context and the surfacing on the deep web, it made sense to assume that this video has a very malicious backstory to it. Some Ordinary Gamers was one of the first creators to stumble across this video on the deep web. I want to include his reaction to give you an idea how people felt that discovered this video first.
It's a deep web video. I downloaded it, and well, I don't really know what to say. I saw it for a bit. Kind of getting sick kind of looking at the thumbnail. What the fuck is he eating? What's going on? I don't know what this is. I found this off of the deep web, and you know what? As pursuant to what I always do, I'm definitely gonna have to fucking forward this to an authority or something like that. That's really fucking messed up. I have no idea what to really say.
However, Rainbot did the first real investigation on the topic. YAYVIDEOGAMES on Dailymotion have done multiple videos in these characters, which all are somewhat odd. According to Raymond Percy, the guy behind these characters, his costumes have been stolen from his car. Afterwards, he received an email containing a link to blankroom soup.avi. This would mean that the characters featured on YAYVIDEOGAMES and the ones in blankroom soup.avi are different individuals. However, this topic is not solved at all. Rainbot makes it clear that this is just a theory. It also could be likely that YAY's story is made up and serves as a publicity stunt to garner more attention. This topic remains unsolved to this date. And we are done. The next episode will contain the most disturbing topics in Tier 3 and 4. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you soon.